The diner is open for business, being recorded on this January 11th of 2025. And we weren't we just talking about shit happening in the state of Minnesota, Greg?
Yes.
And all of a sudden it seems like we're experiencing deja vu from 2020.
Yep.
And something happened in Minneapolis. Greg, what the fuck is happening in your home state?
Some liberal white woman got shot.
This was somebody who was blocking like ICE traffic and taunting officers, and people like certain people on the left are treating her like a hero, like she's innocent or something.
That's bullshit.
Of course, we saw the original video where we saw it from more of a top-down, cornered angle. But as we have gotten more clips from one or two or so other angles, including a really up-close perspective where the ICE officer got banged by that woman's car before he started shooting her and calling her a fucking bitch, which is unprofessional.
To be fair, when the guy called her a fucking bitch, he didn't know he killed her, first off. So he called her a fucking bitch after it looked to him like she was driving off.
But we'll say this: the woman in the video is not completely innocent, and you can even hear like her wife telling her, "Oh, drive," so kind of encouraging her to do it.
That was literally the three last words she heard before she got a bullet in her head. Drive, baby, drive!
And not to mention, they were running a account, I think, on social media, trying to tell people about ICE's whereabouts or where they are. So basically, all they're doing is just harassing ICE agents.
Well, that's what the thing is. It's like she had been known to have been stalking and harassing ICE agents. And this has been an ongoing, almost nationwide thing where, politicians of a certain side are even encouraging it, where they're like, okay, raise awareness. If there's ICE in your neighborhood, here's what you're supposed to do. And not only that, but they're literally doxing these people, finding out their information. These guys have been threatened in their own homes. And then they get mad at them for wearing masks. It's like, well, take your mask off.
Seriously?
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute. Were these Antifa freaks the same ones that say wear a mask or else?
So I'm going to read this repost, okay? And then feel free to follow along with me. A 37-year-old woman, she has 3 kids, middle of a work week. The father of her children is dead. The only job she has above every cause, every protest or headline, her main job is to get home to her kids. That's what she needs to be doing. And what is this 37-year-old woman doing instead? She's out in the street in her car, blocking federal agents who are supposed to be doing their jobs, and she's not alone. Her wife is right there filming her like it's some brave documentary moment. And then around them, you have whistles blaring. People, that's the thing that they're doing. They blow whistles to signal that there's an ICE agent around. People are yelling. There's chaos. Her window's down, and you can see in the videos that she hears people. She's even talking to the officers, so she understands what she's being told, and she's ignoring the orders of get out of the car. And then what does she do? She puts the car in reverse. She doesn't comply, and then she puts it in drive, not park. She puts it in drive, and because of the icy road, that wheel slips on the roads because it has no traction. So with a fully revved up car, as it moves forward, it goes right in the direction of some guy who happens to be drawing his gun.
The only people that these two are protecting are the illegal immigrants themselves. Like, they're not trying to keep anybody safe at all.
Including an alleged illegal immigrant who was a child sex offender.
Seriously?
That's been going around.
Humanitarian standpoint, I don't think she deserved to get killed for any of these, but she still deserved to be punished.
We all agree she didn't have to die. Like I said, she's a mother of her 3 kids. Imagine her kids. They don't know that their mother is out playing social justice warrior hero games for criminals in the middle of a work week with 2 adults responsible for them. She's not thinking about her kids. She didn't think, if I get arrested, who picks up my babies. She didn't think, if I get hurt, who raises them. She wasn't thinking, if I die, they have nobody. She instead, like we pointed out, she's protecting criminals. She's interfering with federal agents. She thought about the camera. She thought that she was fighting some fucking war. Okay. That is not something that a 37-year-old mother of 3 should be doing. Like, what a fucking idiot in this case.
And yeah, it does suck some of those people like die, but when they refuse commands, you know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, attempt to hurt an officer, you attempt to hurt a police officer or anything else, you're gonna get what's coming to you.
And also, if I can point this out, is it just me, or do these liberal white women always seem to, I don't know, defend domestic abusers and all that?
I know. I mean, and the thing is, look, remember, before 9/11, we didn't think about people using airplanes as flying bombs, as missiles. So, and then eventually when that happened, we had to change our defense and assumptions accordingly. So, so in the past few years, especially what's been going on with all the riots and the BLM stuff, especially in the wake of the George Floyd, people have been using vehicles around crowds and law enforcement as weapons. Like, I can't imagine using a car to blockade law enforcement. Like, I don't understand the mindset of people deciding they can do that and expect not to suffer some kind of consequence. One of the one thing that everybody should be teaching their kids is, don't try to fuck with law enforcement. If you're going to get arrested and then deal with it later. Especially if you're in blue states, you're just going to get out later. I mean, we get reports of people that have been arrested and put out on the street over 10 to 15 times, and they're still committing crimes.
Yeah.
What the hell are they afraid of being arrested for?
And I'll say this, like 2020 after the George Floyd thing was like the summer of love. Early 2026 feels like the winter of love.
Sheesh. Hey, did you know that her ex-wife uses her kids as ashtrays and puts cigarettes on them, on their skins?
I don't know if that is true or not. And if that is true, like, good Lord, this lady knows how to pick them. Dude, her wife on camera was also antagonizing the cops. The wife was literally like, oh, you want some, boys? You want something? You better go get some lunch.
Really?
She was fucking antagonizing them.
I don't get why these anti-ICE people are using her as a hero and a martyr, like she's innocent. I mean, she freaking resisted arrest. Like, oh, she was trying to pull off and get away. That is no excuse.
That one, you could get arrested for that. We're not teaching kids and people in general to not mess with law enforcement enough.
Okay, but then remember in the case of the George Floyd stuff, okay, fine if you want to bring that stuff out, but George Floyd was also a career criminal. He was also somebody that he was literally running away from the cops and resisting arrest, and nobody wanted to see that guy die either. But why is it that people riot for people like this guy? People riot and go on these big violent protests over this 37-year-old woman who was clearly resisting arrest and nearly ran over an officer.
Yeah, they're burning buildings and doing all of that. And I'm gonna say this: there are bad cops, there are bad agents on there, and we will agree that what happened with the ICE agent in Minneapolis wasn't the best course of action, or maybe not have been the right trained thing. It's a tragedy all around. We can agree on that.
Although in the case of George Floyd, he was also on drugs with a serious drug problem. He was on fentanyl and maybe I think one other drug, and he had heart problems. So he was on his way to dying, but getting his neck choked just made him die faster. And
all of us have seen the body cam footage of the George Floyd stuff. So we live in an age where we all basically get to see the same thing. Some people, when they saw the body cam footage of George Floyd, they realized, oh, wait a minute, this guy was high off his ass. Why the hell are we protesting him or on behalf of him? Other people, they will not put their biases aside because they firmly believe in defunding the police. They firmly believe in, immigration, diversity as our strength, social justice warrior bullshit. If it goes against what they believe in, well, then I got to side with my thing. In the case of Renee Good, we all saw the footage of the officer getting hit by the fucking car, and people still see that footage and think, "Oh no, she wasn't trying to hit him. She was just what?"
She was being nervous and
Right.
driving on ice, of course.
Not listening to the fact that her wife yelled at her to drive, baby, drive.
I'll say this, like the kneel on the neck thing, that's also a normal police tactic that is at least legal, even if it kind of contributed in some way to George Floyd's death.
Look, if you're driving your car around a large law enforcement presence, a sensible person, you employ a lot of caution. So this woman just made the stupidest choices imaginable. And I think part of the stupid choice was whoever she married. As far as I'm concerned, her wife is responsible for her death. Like, her wife egged her on to do what she did. You can absolutely grieve this woman's death, okay? Because it is sad that she died the way she did on a public forum. Her death is now seen by millions of people around the planet. It is a political hotbed of discussion. You can absolutely grieve the tragedy, okay? And then you can still learn something from her extremely poor judgment and say, okay, I won't do what this woman did. I'd rather stay alive.
Let's just hope, like, whatever happens, like, to the guy responsible, like, for the shooting, we'll see if he does end up serving time for something like this.
This whole scene is under investigation, and to me, I would rather have the officer shoot at her tires than to shoot at her directly. But this is still a tragedy all around. There's no getting around it. But there's also no getting around the fact that she fucked around, and while the country is reeling from this and continuously talking about it, there's another ICE officer shooting in Portland, Oregon, that left 2 people wounded, which sparked even more protests and and more. So that's a very so if it actually worsens the reputation of ICE, or if it's just yet another thing to, give more reasons to divide this country, or even both, that's not a good thing. ICE.
You're correct about that, Adam. It's definitely a lot of politicians, especially on the left side, that want to keep raising the temperature. They want us to keep at each other's throats, and they have people literally believing that ICE is a modern day Gestapo. All right, and it's like, I get if you're going to be sympathetic towards immigrants coming into this country, okay, and then, but unfortunately, when you're opening it up for illegals flooding in the way they're doing, you're opening up the door for a lot of sex trafficking, a lot of fraud, as in the case of what happened in Minnesota. Like, this is probably potentially billions of taxpayer dollars that should have gone towards helping the children, instead went into the pockets of these people, and now this stuff is getting uncovered. And it's very possible that people like Ilhan Omar and the retard Tim Walz benefited from it.
Oh,
they were probably in on it.
And it's not just.
I'll go first. Also, defunding ICE or defunding the police, like, I don't think it's really going to be a good solution to something like this, especially when we have like a lot of problems. And even the mayor, saying that, ICE needs to get out of Minneapolis.
Well, that's the thing, is ICE is a federal backed thing, and they have a bigger budget because of the big beautiful bill. And the only reason why ICE is getting sent into these locations is because mayors like the one in Minneapolis have failed. That's the same reason why they're going into LA. They're going into a lot of these blue hotbeds where a lot of illegal immigrants are, because they have failed.
It's also not just the politician. It's not just the politicians. It's also the people. And this really is continuing to be a growing concern. And issue. And you got to remember, I mean, you brought up 9/11 briefly. ICE was originally created not under Trump, but under Bush Jr. as part of the Fed's response to 9/11. And it's part of the Department of Homeland Security that was originally started in 2002.
Obama, Joe Biden, who he was vice president towards, during the Obama administration, millions of illegals were deported, and you didn't hear any fucking protest from the people on Obama's side over it, even when Obama was nicknamed the deporter in chief. But then all of a sudden, if Trump does it, oh my God, Trump's a Nazi. This is fascist. ICE is a Gestapo.
Well, the difference
Like
is
this-
that Trump is very, very verbally harsh on immigration. You know, it prompts people on the other side, like Biden, to undo some of Trump's policies because they hate his politics.
It's not that they hate Trump's politics, they just hate Trump. It's a certain person, it's like a certain person that's not on this podcast. I'm literally asking him, what is it going to take for you to act like a normal adult whenever Trump does something? And he literally he admitted to me, it's like, no, I want Trump to be wrong. I don't want him to be right on. He wants to hate Trump for the sake of hating Trump.
That's just him and his Trump derangement syndrome. But
Right.
That's just proof that some people are hypocrites, because Trump is enforcing the same laws that his predecessors, like Obama, George W. Bush, and even Clinton's done. They've deported a lot of people too. Also, those internment camps, they were started by Obama, but yet I hear people, even people I know, protesting about those camps in Trump's first term. I'm like, that started with Obama.
okay, I think the internment camps are bad, but it's not just Biden undoing these policies, and it's not just him getting older. It's also the fact that he told the prospect immigrants, potential immigrants, that they could come into this country, and that's another reason why a flood of them came in as soon as they did. And he gave running the Border Patrol to his Vice President Kamala Harris, who did such a piss poor job, and it became a disaster.
This is a crisis that they caused, and then so when the next administration tries to fix it, now they're the bad guys.
Yeah, but it's a never-ending fucking story, sadly.
It really is a never-ending story. So closing thoughts, guys. For real, these are our closing thoughts.
Let's just hope there will be some form of closure. We'll see what happens to the agents. Maybe he'll be charged. Maybe he'll serve time, but we don't know yet.
This is a bad situation. I don't think either one of these people are in the right entirely, but it's also yet another cautionary tale to not mess with law enforcement officers, even including ICE. Yeah, between this and the George Floyd incident and the recent child care scandal, also in the state of Minnesota, and not to mention Tampon Tim, I mean, can't that state catch a well-deserved break? I mean, if only.
This was entirely preventable, and it didn't need to happen. You are correct. Okay, Greg, what's your last word?
Liberal Karens are always sexually frustrated.
And if you had a chance to go to Tim Walz's house, what would you tell Tim Walz the retard?
I would tell him, go shove that tampon right up your ass, retard.
Words to live by. And with that said, the diner is closed. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you did enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next edition of Burgers and Fries at the Diner. I am Desert Cow 22. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
I'm out.
Bye.
Very good. All right, I will stop that.